Okay. Okay. So can you introduce yourself and talk about your role and your journey?
Sure. My name is Carmen Lajam. I teach at Wyandotte High School currently. I am from Kansas City, Kansas, and I've always been here, always stayed here, and have decided to continue to teach here, which is something that I'm really passionate about. My journey from basically from when I started or from when I wanted to be a teacher. Uh, yeah, sure. Okay. I would say my journey starts with seeing my parents struggle when I was younger. And I did live in Kansas City, Kansas. So I've always been in the USD 500 district, either in or out, because like my childhood, as much as I love my dad, I know he really tried to provide like a stable life for me. Bouncing around from school to school was just something I was used to. I ended up growing up in a single parent household. My dad was the only one that raised me. And I ended up, I guess, losing my mom, you could say, when I was in third grade. And so that was really hard for me. And in Hispanic culture, the woman tends to take care of the household. That's just kind of how it is. So my dad would get up at like 5 a.m. and go to work, and he wouldn't come home till like 6 p.m. maybe when he was working. And so that meant that I had to really help out a lot. That meant like clean the house. I would help make dinner. I would get up at 5 a.m. and like pack his lunch for him. And it was just one of those things to where it was routine. And my dad always told me that if I didn't want to slave away and break my back for the rest of my life, that I should really value education. And I really took that to heart because education was my safe place. I loved going to school. I loved reading. I loved like sitting in the library for hours before school, after school, or during school. And it was just one of those things to where I knew even at home, if things were like crazy or not okay, if I went to school, I was definitely around like a network that supported me and it felt safe. And it's just one of those things to where even if we didn't grow up or I didn't grow up in the safest neighborhood, and there was so much like stuff going around, I knew that at least I had one central building where everything kind of like went away for a while. And I think that's what really inspired me to become a teacher, because I like feeling like everything went away for a while. And I know if I can make someone else feel like that for even just a little bit, I'm doing my job.
Oh, thank you for sharing. I love that. Uh, so you were nominated for Educator of the Year. Um, what does that mean to you?
Honestly, I think it means that someone else is seeing all the effort that I'm putting in, because throughout, like I said, if I'm making a difference with just one kid, it changes a lot. And growing up, I didn't really have a Hispanic teacher to look up to at all. It was, predominantly white, predominantly female. I didn't see that. And I try really hard to do the most I can with my students. Like I have a group of juniors I'm working right now that I'm trying to help get certifications, whether it be OSHA, trying to get scholarships, trying to get them ahead in life. And I think just being nominated shows that someone else is recognizing all the things that I've been trying to do. And it feels good. It does, because there are some days when you come home and it's like, I wonder if anyone actually cares what I'm doing. And it shows that people see that I care and they care about my well-being as well. And they appreciate me.
Yes, absolutely. And with that, after this, I will send you snippets from your nomination, some
Mhm.
stuff that people said about you. So for sure, people are seeing your great work. So data shows that Latinx representation in schools matter. What impact do you see yourself having on your students, and why do you think Latinx teachers are important?
Like I said, when I was growing up, I didn't really have any Hispanic teachers, and although school is my safe place, it did feel like sometimes people couldn't identify with the struggles that I was having. Like, yes, you could show me some type of sympathy, but you don't understand where I'm coming from. And when I talk to my students, I'm very real. I tell them stuff that's happening in my life. I tell them stuff that's happened to me in the past and my family. And I feel like they can connect to me on a deeper level because they're like, oh, Miss Lajam gets it. She hears me and she sees what I've been through. And I have a lot of students that even if I don't necessarily have the same experiences as them, they feel comfortable talking to me because there is that common ground of, oh, Miss Lajam, she has family, she knows that what the struggle is. And I think that's why representation is so important. And I think that's why I've made such an impact with my students because they come in, they know they could speak Spanish to me. They come in, they know they can tell me about their family. And I've had similar struggles. They can tell me about, oh, Miss Lajam, this is happening at home. And I'm like, I went through the same thing. I totally understand you. And in my school currently, I think our population is over 70% Hispanic right now. And if you look at the amount of Hispanic teachers that they have, or Latinx teachers that they have, you can count them on your hand. There's for 2,000 kids almost, there's only about 5 Hispanic teachers. And 2 of them teach Spanish. Then there's me, and then the rest either work in the office or are somewhere else in the building. So they don't really get that like real interaction until probably they get to English 1 and then they move on. So it's kind of cool.
Yes, absolutely. That is such a disproportionate, you know, number. And I really like that you share personal tidbits from your life with your students. I know that that means so much because I know for me, like, I never knew anything about my teachers ever. And they also weren't Hispanic, but it would be nice to, be like, I'm opening up to you right now, like, be a real person. So that humanity piece is huge, and I'm sure they appreciate it. So my last question for you is, what keeps you going? What keeps you motivated?
I think that honestly, it's seeing the changes and the relationships that I built with the students that keep me going. Because as an educator, I think everyone comes home and they're like, I've had these rough days. But then when you go back, and for example, I have a student that she brought me fried rice the other day. And I was just like, what's this for? And she's like, Miss Lajam, I was here the other day and I saw that you didn't eat because you were helping us during your lunch. And I just wanted to show you that I appreciate you. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. And so it's kind of seeing that they are observing me and taking care of me and the same way I'm trying to take care of them. So there's been a clear relationship that's been built between us to where they're like, I trust you. I value you and I value that you're valuing me and taking time with me. So here's this connection, Miss Lajam. And I think that's just really cool. I think that's what keeps me going. Even on like the rough days, I say I have to get up because here's this person that I know is relying on me and I want to see them succeed. The same way I had a teacher that wanted to see me succeed, in the same way my dad wanted to see me succeed. So I'm going to go to work and I'm going to do what I need to do to make sure that they're getting ahead in life. And I think that's what keeps me going, knowing I have so many people relying on me and that value our connection.
Oh my goodness, not the fried rice. That really got me. That's awesome. I love that you're, trying to be that person for your students that not everybody has. Not everybody has somebody that wants to see you win. And so that's so important, especially somebody that looks like you. Like, that is huge.
I always get like, Miss Lajam, you look so white, but then I start speaking Spanish or I start talking to them and they're like, oh, you get it. You get it. I'm like, yes, I get it.
Right. It's that one, that connector right there, that means a lot for sure. Yes, so thank you so much for sharing. I'm very inspired by you and the work that you do and what drives you. Like, that's so beautiful. And yeah, what a great story. Is there anything else that you would like to share about your nomination, about
I know that, well, I'm not sure necessarily who all nominated me. However, I do appreciate them and I appreciate that they value what I've been doing. And I do want to say that I can't be an educator without my students. And I'm glad that I have a place to go to every day that's in my community and is basically, even if they have so many struggles outside, we don't live in the safest place because I've decided to stay in my community. I am glad that they can at least come into my room and feel like they're safe. And I hope that that's what I create. And I'm just really glad to be nominated.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much.